Make sure, folks, that you've got a notebook, a pen, an open mind. Make a space between your ears, because I am going to implant some illumination. Don't go away. The Hermetic marriage, or the marriage of the sun and the moon, the origin of the Hermetic philosophy, will astound you. You're going to learn a few things about yourselves, about religion, and about Walt Disney tonight. Good old Walt. You've been leading your children to his lessons in the mysteries and the philosophic indoctrination into the philosophy of fire for many years, and you didn't even know it. Thoth Hermes, the ibis-headed, was the Egyptian god of wisdom, learning, literature, and science, gnosis, if you will. The G in the center of the compass and square of the Masonic emblem does not stand for God or geometry. It means gnosis, knowledge, those who know. Thoth Hermes is accredited with being the first to reveal the art of writing to the present human race. According to the records available, he lived in Egypt as a contemporary of Moses. Some authorities even claim that Moses and Hermes were one and the same person. The Greek name Hermes is taken from an ancient root, herm, which means the active or positive, radiant principle of nature, sometimes translated as vitality or generative force, and known to ancient Freemasonry, or the Sons of Light, the Freemasons, as the cosmic fire. Hiram, and later as Hiram Abiff. Hermes Trismegistus, often called Mercurius ter Maximus, dominated the philosophical and literary thought of the ancient world. His very name, ladies and gentlemen, became a synonym of wisdom. In fact, he was revered as the personification of philosophy and erudition. He was regarded as the first Kabbalist, the first physician, the first alchemist, and the first historian. The actual life of this demagogue and king of the ancient double empire of the Nile is obscured by that twilight which hides the origin of all peoples. And those who think they know, you can be assured, do not. By reason of his great wisdom and magical powers, Thoth was listed among the gods until today. Many believe that he never existed at all outside of mythology. But if action and reaction are equal, then something more substantial than a mere legend must be the foundation for the towering superstructure of the Hermetic arts. During the early periods of human growth, when the intelligence of man was scarcely above that of the animal, according to the theory of evolution, all education was controlled by the priestcraft, just as I have outlined to you on many episodes of the Hour of the Time. The ancient priests were called the shepherds of men. The analogy is that men are sheep, or cattle. For the shepherds guarded the flocks of primitive human beings as the shepherd does his sheep. Are you beginning to have a flicker of understanding? Both science and philosophy were outgrowths of religion. In fact, all our present-day wisdom came originally into the world from between the pillars of the sanctuaries, the temples, what today you call cathedrals or churches. And it came from the priesthood, from the priests. Hermes was to ancient philosophy what Jesus is to Christianity. Its light, its inspiration, and of course its impetus. The Egyptian initiates of the temple of Isis claimed, therefore, that Hermes was actually the writer of all books on philosophical and religious subjects, that the supposed human authors were merely amanuens who wrote down upon parchment or vellum the thoughts which this God impressed upon their consciousness, sort of like channeling. In scriptural terms, they were the pens, and he the ever-ready writer. During his lifetime, if indeed he lived, Hermes Trismegisto is supposed to have actually written 42 books. Some, however, are probably the work of the ancient Egyptian priests, for in their glory, these serpent-crowned hierophants represented the wisest group of philosophers that ever lived upon this planet. Clemens